Yo, 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 yo. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Nique, and you're tuned in to Nique at Night. Now, I know that this live is about to stress me out, so I got to brace myself and I got to pull up. I got to pull me a drink to get ready because I already know that this is going to stress me out already before it even starts. So, while I pour me a drink and allow some more people to filter on in, I'm gonna give y'all a little countdown and we gonna be right back. Let me pull up because let me pull up. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? Thank you guys for tuning in. And I promised you all that we would do a live once the verdict came in. Because I covered this, I want to say in the inception of it all, when it first started going on, a lot of people wanted me to basically keep up with the trial. They wanted me to make videos on it. And I was just like, I really don't want to do that. I felt like I did enough videos on this subject matter to be able to just wait for the verdict to come in and have just a once and for all live where my subscribers on both sides of the coin can come vent and basically give their thoughts and opinions on the matter. They can share how they feel about the trial all in one whop. Now, I want to thank all of you guys who are here. I see you guys up in the chat. And if this is your first time here, I want you guys to drop the half moon emoji. Now, over here, we are a community. So I want to know who's new to the community and who's been rocking inside this community. So if you're new here, if this is your first time here, drop a half moon emoji in the comments. If you are a night owl and you've been rocking with me and you've been here a while, I want you to drop an owl in the comments, okay? The owl represents us night owls, and we're just going to start it off right there, followed by letting me know where everybody is tuned in from, okay? I want y'all to drop them emojis and let me know where y'all tuned in from. And then we're going to get into this conversation, okay? And I'm going to also let me drop the link so that we can join in here and talk about the goings-ons that's goings-ons. The StreamYard link has been dropped in the chat. Moderators, please repost the StreamYard link and let's get on into it. So just a little bit ago, the verdict came in that R. Kelly was found guilty of all charges. Now, because of the nature of the subject matter regarding anything with R. Kelly's name, anything with the word, trafficking or the R word or anything like that, it automatically triggers the algorithm to say this is not monetizable. So for me spending my time opening up my platform and being a voice, I also want to be, supported throughout this. So if you don't mind supporting, you could drop a cash app or something, super chat, something to support the stream, because we're going to be here for a while and people are going to be giving their opinions, and their opinions is going to mess up my coin. Okay. So we just got to keep the support train rolling. Just want to put that out there real quick. The cash app and everything is on the screen. All right, so boom. So R. Kelly basically was charged with trafficking and, messing with underage girls. He was accused of, not allowing them to, eat at certain times, not allowing them to leave the room, spanking them, and all kind of things that he was accused of. And it was a matter of, I believe, Azriel being transported over state lines, and they considered that to be, trafficking and, things of that nature. And now he has been on trial since August, and they have now passed down the verdict saying that he was guilty on all counts. He was guilty on all counts, and he could face a possibility of 140 years. So it says R. Kelly has just been found guilty on all counts in his federal blank crimes trial and could be staring down a life in prison. The jury started deliberating on Friday afternoon, had the weekend off, and took about a half the day on Monday to reach the verdict. Its verdict on 9 federal counts, including racketeering, blank crimes, trafficking, obstruction of justice, and kidnapping. The trial wrapped a little over a month after it began, with the prosecution calling for more witnesses than the defense. Kelly's team only called 5 witnesses over a couple of days. Kelly himself never took the stand. Sentencing is scheduled for May 4th. And now that Kelly has been convicted on all counts, he could get 10 years to life. Okay. Mind you, he's still set to go on a second federal trial in Chicago and a state trial in Illinois and Minnesota. Monday's verdict in the federal court in Brooklyn comes just after 2 years after Kelly was arrested in Chicago for multiple federal crimes in 2 different states. Kelly's legal team called a handful of his ex-employees and associates to take the stand in an effort to discredit allegations the singer, abused the women, girls, and boys. Some of Kelly's defenders said under oath they never saw Kelly abuse anyone. What's more, some of the defense witnesses went as far as saying that if anything, Kelly was chivalrous to his girlfriends. It says prosecutors, however, called dozens of witnesses to the stand to refute defense testimony and poke holes throughout. Some of the prosecutors' witnesses straight up said Kelly had been a small team made up of managers, bodyguards, and assistants who rounded up Kelly's potential victims before the singer groomed them for unwanted blank, amongst other things. These witnesses also testified saying that Kelly's entourage would recruit potential victims either at his concerts, malls, and even fast food joints. Okay, so that's just basically the synopsis so far, and that's basically where we are so far. So basically, he was charged and he was basically found guilty. Well, he hasn't been sentenced, but he was found guilty on all counts. All 9 counts, he was found guilty. All of the racketeering, he was found guilty, and he could face upwards of 140 years. I wanted to bring this conversation here because there seems to be a divide on how they feel. There are some people who feel as though, justice was served, rightfully so. And then there are some people who feel as though he was railroaded. There was some people who feel like, it's the parents that should go to jail. It's the enablers that should go to jail. And then there's people who feel as though R. Kelly should go to jail plus the parents. There should be plus this, plus that, this person. So I want to get you guys' take on what you feel. Click the link in the chat so that we can basically start the conversation and I can basically get your input. You don't have to be on camera to have the discussion. You can turn your camera off and you can treat it just like a call so that I can see what you guys are thinking and feeling. First person up is Demetrius. What is your thoughts?
Hi, Nique and Nike. I'm so glad that you allowed me to get on the panel with you. I have been a night owl for a minute. I've been following you now for about 2 years. You are a great commentator. I love your channel. I'm not to the point that I'm going to say that I'm happy about the verdict. And let me explain why. There is a lot of evidence that is against R. Kelly, but I'm to the point now where I'm thinking that a lot of this evidence is basic evidence that they basically just got out their back pocket, if that makes sense. Now, as far as R. Kelly is concerned, I like his music. I'm not saying what he did was wrong, but I just think these people just came out the woodwork. A lot of them are just to the point they was mad because they was not able to get R. Kelly to do what they wanted him to do. A lot of them was putting they kids at the time up there to be with this man, knowing that he's a grown man. Now that mad day has came, as the older people say, now they want to come out of the woodwork. Okay, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Now, at the end of the day, R. Kelly has to meet his fate, but I don't personally think that he needs to get life, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, as I was raised, my mom always said, if you act like a grown woman in front of a grown man, you get treated like a grown man. Okay. I teach my daughters the same thing. Now, a lot of these women that are coming out of the woodwork, they basically was trying to get record deals from R. Kelly. Okay, most of them. Now, I'm not gonna say all the victims because I'm not to the point where I'm gonna say that a victim is lying. Okay, I'm not gonna say that because if it's to the point where it happened to one of my kids or either my daughter, I will be to the point where I will be upset. But the difference between me is if my daughter is to the point she's a kid at the time, I'm gonna say something then. I'm not gonna wait years down the road. Okay, if that makes sense. Now, majority of these victims, they say they were girls. They were to the point where they was trying to get something financial from R. Kelly. Say what you want to say. Okay. Now, as far as the grown women that are actually involved with R. Kelly that's coming out and saying stuff, most of them are to the point where they actually were not held hostage. Now, there was a couple of ladies that said that he was doing the most sexually. Now, as far as that's concerned, I ain't got nothing to do with what he do as far as being with grown women. I'm concerned about the children. Now, there are accusations out there, and I say accusations that he's been with a man. Now, the man came out of the woodwork, and I'm gonna use the word woodwork, say allegedly. My thing is, where was he years ago? Okay. Now it looking to me like it's. I'm not gonna say it's a Bill Cosby type of situation, but it's
In the chat,
close.
they said, what did you say? Your mama said. You said my mama always said they want
My
you to repeat
mama always said, and I repeat it again. This way she taught me. If you go around a man and act like you grown and do the most, and you get grown, treated like a grown woman, don't be mad. Because my mama always taught me you don't go around no man with short skirts on. You don't be sitting up in men's laps. And most importantly, my mother wouldn't put me in a position where I had to even be in the position that some of these parents let their children be in because of the almighty dollar. And just like my grandma say, when mad they come and they didn't get what they want, then they was mad. Okay, say whatever you want to say about the situation. Now, personally, I love me some R. Kelly. I was hoping and praying, I ain't gonna lie, that they would at least give him a couple of years now. I'm not saying he need to get off scot free, but R. Kelly needed to be to the point where he needed to know that what he did was wrong, and that man still needs to be allowed to come back into society. I'm gonna tell you why. R. Kelly is not to the point that he is innocent. Now, I ain't never saying that he innocent, but it's a shame how many people came out the woodwork and why it took them so long. What they mouth didn't work, they phones didn't work, they didn't know how to call the police. Now I tell you, it's the reason why I'm giving these people the side eye, is because back in them times they did have phones. The police they was to the point where they was taking reports. So why everybody piling up now and coming out the woodwork, as my grandma used to say?
All right.
Okay, that's why. Yeah, I'm sorry, Nique. I didn't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I want anybody because I see a lot of pushback in the chat. I want to bring up somebody who wants to basically combat what you are saying. So if there's anybody who is hearing what she's saying and you don't agree with her take, I'm gonna take you first. So whoever clicks on next, that lets me know that you want to basically respond to what she's saying. And I'm gonna bring you right on to basically respond to what she's saying and go from there. Nikki, you gotta cut it off in the back.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you gotta cut it off in the back.
Okay.
Like a
Okay.
bed
I'm
now.
here. Okay. Well, I feel what Demetrius Jones is saying. About. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I feel what she's saying about showing acting fast and showing out in front of men. And like I said, I feel like majority of these girls did know what they were doing, and I feel like the parents should be at fault as well. You know what I mean? Not justifying what R.
Okay.
Kelly
Wait. I'm
did.
gonna pause. I'm gonna pause you right there.
Okay.
Um, so you sound like you agree with her. I'm gonna let you speak, but just hold on 1 second. I want somebody who disagrees. Nino, do you agree with what she's saying?
Uh, Not really. I mean, for me, how I see the outcome and following this case, so I mean, through the whole trial and everything, like I sort of kind of agree with her, but then I disagree with her for the majority of it because I don't feel that any black man, not just to say just R. Kelly, I don't feel that any black man should have to go to jail and be accused of allegations when you have no physical proof. Like I was just listening to the lead district attorneys and Homeland Security and everything like that. Like this was nothing but a grab. Like they wanted to reunite themselves with the community based upon their testimony after court. Like it was too many flaws in this case to where you got Jane Doe who's given countless interviews, Faith Rogers who's also given countless interviews, debunking everything that they've said. And a lot of people don't know that the Mann Act was made to convict black people. It's been around since 1911, and it was made for this famous boxer. I forget his name. Judge Joe Brown was just talking about it the other night. But it was made to outlaw and convict black men from being able not to sleep with white women. And R. Kelly's being charged with the Mann Act, and we talking about black girls. You understand what I'm saying? So like everything that has gone on in this.
Wait, I'm gonna pause.
Go ahead.
So you
okay?
Only disagree with the part that he should be in jail. That's the part that you disagree with.
I totally disagree. I totally disagree. Like, and when it goes to the point,
disagreed with her.
Oh no, I can't totally disagree because it wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't make sense. Like you can't come out and say you were a victim, but then you go ahead and you debunk your own words under oath. Your grand jury's testimony is completely different than what you got up in front of the government and said. Then that would lead a lot of people to like turn a blind eye. Not to mention that we got the judge also who helped the prosecution big time. If you stay anywhere into the transcripts, every time the defense ran up in those victims to discredit them, sidebar, objection. So R. Kelly gonna get an appeal. It's just unfortunate that he got to sit down like Bill Cosby. It's real unfortunate that he got to sit down like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was done the same exact way, by our government.
All right, I'm gonna pause you because I want to get difference of opinions. Eliza says that she disagrees with both of you.
All right. Yes. I disagree with both of y'all. I'm not saying that a black man should not be held accountable for what he did. This man for years has been putting poison in the black community through his music, inspiring people to be pedophiles, sexually lasciviousness. They just want to go out there and go fuck something when they hear this music. And I don't like the fact that he did that. I grew up on R. Kelly. I grew up in the South with ain't nothing but Boosie fans and R. Kelly fans. And every single time I see a person at the cookout, I already know what they about to go do. They about to go get something on and pray on whatever it is. His music is poison. And of course, it's going to swipe away small little kids. And I'm not saying that the victims should not be held accountable, because they should be held accountable because of the fact that they are just as guilty as him. They just as guilty as him because they did it for money. So they ain't right in their souls. They had a desperation. And I don't care what nobody says. Desperation is just a mindset of lack. You only feel that way because of the fact that you don't have an abundant mindset. And because of that, you're going to do all kind of crazy stuff to get money. So all of them should be held accountable. When I seen him getting put in jail, I said to myself, this is a sign for all y'all, women and men, keep your legs fucking closed. For real, because there is a God, and he's going to judge y'all. Y'all going to go to jail for life, or you're going to be put to shame. People don't believe the actual victims. And just because they do that, they women, we only follow behind men and what y'all put out there. And for years, 20, 30 years, his music and his leadership has been destroying the black community, because all it does is make people not think, but open their damn legs to get some damn money. And that's all I want to say.
All right.
Let me just chime in real quick on what she said real quickly. She said that R. Kelly's music has been poisoning the black community and everything as far as such with his lyrics, right? So watch this. If you say that R. Kelly's music has poisoned the black community, that means you got to erase Chris Brown, you got to erase Trey Songz, because every single one of those dudes, you got to erase Tank. You got to go all the way into the nitty gritty, because no, wait, let me say this. Let me just finish.
Okay, right.
When you go into their lyrics, you can go from Tank, Chris Brown, any R&B star, including Tyrese. Every single last one of them is telling you how they want to break a woman down and do all these sexual things. But the person who created it was R. Kelly. And I don't feel that he should be deemed held accountable for selling music. It's a difference between a person and a stage character. Stage character is R. Kelly. His real persona is Robert Sylvester Kelly, the person that we all don't know. All we know is of R. Kelly. And if you went back to the countless interviews of Jay-Z when he did the Best of Both Worlds tour, he'll tell you himself, He wasn't even able to get into a room to have a meeting with R. Kelly as far as for what they was doing for their whole tour and everything, because he was so secluded away from the world. If you needed to work with R. Kelly would have you come into the studio, y'all get it did, and you get out of there. That's countless testimonies by celebrities, people who didn't make it, that aren't disgruntled. Like, so you gotta make sure, like when you say, oh, we gonna erase his music, or his music has been poisoned in the black community for 30 years. Like, R. Kelly didn't do nothing but bite off of Marvin Gaye and all these other people that were here before him. So when we looking at it from the hindsight, what's happened here is that everybody's been brainwashed by the media. The media didn't report two sides of this case. The jury wasn't sequestered. So over the weekend, the jury was able to go home, look up on YouTube, probably looking at Nique at Night's, update from a year ago, or any other blogger that's reported on this case, and was able to get information and be swayed. The media did not report on the facts of Deborah Canick, which is R. Kelly's attorney. R. Kelly's attorney went in there and debunked every single woman. And every time he got to the point to where it was, you got to throw this out the window, the judge, Ann Donnelly, which is something she is not supposed to do, objected and called a cyborg. So this man wasn't given a fair trial. Now, if he was given a fair trial and found guilty on all charges, no problem. But when you look and you could see that this is not something that's supposed to happen in a judicial practice, whether it be federal or state, the prosecution is supposed to prove the burden without a reasonable amount of doubt with the evidence.
It's not his first time of him acting the way that he has.
But the first time that this man legally
has already peed on somebody.
But look, you can't. But listen, you gotta listen at the. That's what I'm saying.
No,
look,
man, it's not even.
What I'm saying is, listen. What I'm saying is, how do you marry somebody? Let me ask you a question. How do you marry Aaliyah? How do you marry someone when the person who went and got the marriage license got on the stand under oath, under the grand jury, everything, and said Robert Sylvester Kelly had nothing to do with me going above and out of my will to get a marriage license for Robert Sylvester Kelly and Aaliyah? And to put all of that in perspective, her uncle was Barry Hankerson. They couldn't prove.
Bringing that up to say that is something.
The reason, you know why, Nique? The reason why I bring it up, Nique. The reason why I bring it up, Nique. The reason why I bring it up. But look, the reason why I bring it up, I'm gonna tell you. Let me answer the question. Let me answer the question.
Meaning they minds wasn't right, and then the people who did it, their minds wasn't right. Because why would they sit there and let that happen? A child needs to be a child. A child needs to grow up. Nobody at any type of age under consent, money, of anything, if it's not their own free will, they should not even be doing that, and it shouldn't be an excuse for whatever it is that he did.
So then, at that point, what you do is at that point, when you start questioning, questioning minors, the only minors.
He's a danger to our community. His music,
how
our community.
How then you cancel all of R&B? You cancel all of R&B if that's the case. You can't make that statement if it's not. It's halfway true.
All right. Thank you, Nino, for coming on, and thank you, Eliza. Nino, thank you for coming on. Eliza, let me know your final thoughts and your final words so we can move on. There's a lot of people trying to chime in, so I want to be fair to everybody.
Okay. All right. My thoughts on this is that Black people wake up. Get out of sexual lust and lasciviousness and all that, because we are supposed to be the most righteous people on this earth. If we're not doing what God tells us to do, which is 1, do not commit adultery, it's in the 10 commandments, Exodus 20 and 21. Please listen and wake your minds out and come out of this sin. All R. Kelly is just what's going to happen to y'all if y'all keep on. Y'all going to go to jail forever, and y'all going to make scars on people's minds. Thank you. And that's my last thoughts. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. We're going to move on. Thank you for chiming in. I want to know everybody's thoughts on the matter. So we're going to keep on keeping on. There's a lot of people trying to chime in and give their thoughts. I don't know why my mic is having a delay, but we're going to move on to Jims. What's your thoughts, Jims?
Hey, I don't have a ton of thoughts about the R. Kelly case. I mean, I do feel like he deserves to go to jail. The crimes are heinous. They were against underage girls, even if all the women that are coming out right now, may be lying, may not be lying. We do have proof that he's been, doing some heinous stuff over the years sexually. So I just think that 140 years, I do kind of agree with a couple other people that came on.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry. Can you hear me? Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
I do agree with a couple other people that it does seem like he's being railroaded. It just seems ridiculous how this trial went on. It's like for him to finally go to jail like 20 years, 30 years later, to me just seems like they're trying to make an example out of R. Kelly, like he's no longer useful in the industry. So it's like, let's just throw him away. And I don't think that anybody deserves to be thrown away, but I do think that he needs to be held responsible for the things that he's done. So I'm not an R. Kelly fan. I have listened to him my whole life, though, through my family and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm just kind of in the middle on this. Like, I think he does deserve jail, but 140 years is just insane to me. Like, that's a couple of life.
What amount of time do you think he deserves?
I think he should get something that's, I mean, he's already kind of up in age, but I think like, 15, 20, 25 years, something like that is more, because what is jail? Jail is supposed to rehabilitate people, right? So it's like to completely throw him in jail until he dies is just, I don't know. That's just crazy. It's not enough. The crimes to me, it's not murder, And I mean, how many corporate or white collar people get away with racketeering? They get like 5, 10, years for doing stuff like that. And this man got
I
140.
just want to say this, just because they project it could be a possible of 140 years, they always throw the max amount. That doesn't mean that's what he's going to be charged with. His charge and his sentencing, as far as how much time he gets, is going to be in May. So
yeah, but I mean, if the possible is 140, I feel like he's going to definitely get more than 20, like way more than 25 is just from the way that this case is going and how it's highly publicized. I think they're trying to make an example out of R. Kelly, and I think they're going to try to give him like a life sentence for this.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Jims. Thanks for coming on. We're going to go on to Ashley K.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I totally believe that R. Kelly should be doing some serious jail time. Now, should he be the only one doing jail time? No, because there obviously were a lot of people that helped him, orchestrate this whole basically like sex ring with all these people. Now, do I think all the accusers are credible? No, probably not, but a lot of them were. So yeah, R. Kelly is somebody that we, everyone beloved, the black community loved because of his music and whatnot. But at the end of the day, he's a sick individual. Like he did some really sick things. And we all saw it with Aaliyah, but we all just looked past it because, back then it wasn't the whole Me Too movement and all this and that and the third. But he has done some really sick things that I think people are overlooking because your favorite song is Step in the Name of Love or your favorite song is I Believe I Can Fly. We have to like overlook the fact that yes, he has brought us great music through the years, but he has done some terrible things and he should be punished for them. Unfortunately, I hate to see that happen to R. Kelly, but you got to look past some things sometimes because think about if that was one of your family members. The parents should be questioned too, who let their girls be around him like that. But at the same time, what if it was one of your family members that was caught up in a situation like that? You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure if it was, y'all would want to get murder R. Kelly. You know what I'm saying? So we got to overlook some things and realize that he did do the things that these people are saying he did. So that's my input.
All right. Thank you, Ashley K. We
Mhm.
are going to go to special guest to the show, Alfila, and get Alfila's take. What is your take? Let me let you take over real quick.
But what I feel like is that a lot of times people have these inflated images. It's almost like watching somebody on TV, then you see them in person, and you judge them by what you see on TV, which is usually like just a script. A bunch of handlers have prepared, some writers, some publicists, et cetera, right? Now, in R. Kelly's case specifically, I want to touch back on, I think her name was Eliza. Man, Queen, I love everything you said. I felt your spirit. I seen your babies in the back. I agree 100% what you're saying. At this point in time, if you're not awoke enough to understand that it's a fight going on between good and evil, and that's all it is. Like the young brother that came on that was at work, he had some great points, but that was like back in the days of Babylon. All of them articulated themselves so good. They was doing all the fornicating they could think of. So God just made all the languages to where nobody could understand each other. And I think that's what we're coming to right now. You can make a lot of sense of a lot of things. You can call it conspiracy. You can do whatever you want to do. But what it's going to come down to in the end, in my humble opinion, and the way I believe is, I believe that right now you're going to have to atone for all the things that you do behind closed doors, and you're going to be exposed. So if you're doing all of these things behind closed doors, but your image kind of say that you a preacher, you a rapper, you a cook, you a dentist. When you be exposed, all the people in the world can debate it. You can have a million people like R. Kelly stand outside the jail and protest, but it's not going to help you when the hand of God come down. And I'm going to tell you this. Back in the day, I felt like R. Kelly felt that after he went through everything he went through and he beat his cases. I think he was feeling that way because he started making a few different songs that wasn't, I won't say sinful or debauchery like Eliza said, but just so many sexual overtones. He was making "I Believe I Can Fly," and I just felt like in his mind he was having like kind of like a spiritual awakening. But I think sometimes the world we live in, it can gas you up so much, that you just feel like you're the man again, and you forget the things that God done for you. And you forget maybe the arrangements you made with God. And you said, if you get me out of this, I'm going to change, or I'm going to do this, or I can't speak on what he had, but I just feel in my spirit that R. Kelly is a man of God. I know that might sound crazy, y'all, but I do feel that way. I just feel like his public humiliation is because he made some agreements with God that he didn't keep. And that's the way it goes. And I think he's sitting in a jail cell right now saying to himself, man, I wish that first chance you would have gave me, I would have ran with it. I know a lot of people are going to debate how many years he should have got, or, is he even guilty? But I say it like this. If R. Kelly wasn't found guilty today and he was found not guilty, it'd be 1,000 people saying we're going to his concerts tomorrow. So with that said, I say tap more into your spirit and learn people from the spirit. Don't judge people by what other people judge them by. Because at the end of the day, this is all man's law. These court systems and stuff that we get involved with and we go through, this is all man's law. So maybe he's going through a spiritual punishment that none of us really, really, really know about. We don't know what was going on inside his head. We don't know if he was rebelling against what God had him to do. We really don't know. But what we do know is he got found guilty today, how much time he was going to get. I think R. Kelly's already like 50 plus. So even if they give him 20 years, it's almost like a life sentence. And the young lady said earlier, she think he should get out because jail is supposed to be for correction. But what I know what's going on out here in California, they used to call it the CDCR, California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. They took the R off of it right now because there is no rehabilitation. And a lot of people was kind of like, they were saying that a lot of inmates were saying, hey, you're not teaching us nothing. We don't got no schools. We don't got nothing going on in here. So they just took the R off of it. It's just CDC now, California Department of Corrections. So that's not even a conversation about rehabilitation no more. For the most part, prisons, county jails, and all those systems are set up for like just straight punitive now. It's all about punishment, and you're going to sit in there and give away some of your time for the crimes that you did. But as far as brother R. Kelly, if he see this or some way he see this, man, I still love you, bro. It's not from a musical standpoint. It's just from a brother, a brother who made a mistake just like you. I'll take that back. Time out. A brother who has made mistakes against the law, like you made mistakes against the law. And, I've been redeemed. I've been to prison 3 times, but I've been redeemed. I'm a whole different kind of spirit right now. So, I just hope, bro, you find your way. Maybe in jail you become this great preacher that you was meant to be. They all gonna still be loving your music out here. They all gonna still benefit from your publishing and all the things that you left on the other side of the bars. Everybody else gonna still benefit from, whether they call you a pedophile or whatever they call you. They're gonna still play R. Kelly at night. They're gonna still play R. Kelly in the bars, wherever they're gonna play him at. Going back to what Eliza said, man, I just wish y'all get y'all spirit right, get right with God, because God ain't really playing with nobody. And all these distractions, number one, is kind of like the internet and all these little Instagrams and everybody's life being so exposed, it kind of throw you off your rocker and throw you off track. But try to stay focused, man. And if God is talking to you, man, do what he say, man, because when God go ahead and lay down that hand of judgment, it's gonna probably be public, but it's gonna dang sure be heavy. That's my take on it.
So let me read some of these super chats. Thank you, Alfila. Let me bring you down real quick. Let me read some of these super chats. Bless365 sent in a super chat and said, he without sin cast the first cast the first sin. The same measures you use to judge will also be used against you on Judgment Day. Thank you, Bless365, for sending in that super chat. C Squared sent in a super chat that says, I think he should get like 5 to 20 and register as a blank offender like everybody else. Okay, and then Berica says racketeering charges can amount up to 20 years in prison per offense slash charge. The verdict was self-inflicted. He should have learned after the first trial. So that is from Berica. Thank you for sending that in. Now let me I'm gonna come back to you, Alfila, and bring you up, but I want to hear from more people. So I'm gonna take priority to those who are on camera. Those of you who are not on camera, I'm still going to hear from you also, but the people who are on camera is going to get priority throughout this stream. So I'm going to go to Court. I don't hear you. Your mic is muted.
I apologize. How are you? I wanted to comment on what Afila said. I didn't want to say his name wrong, so I was practicing. I wanted to say yes, it's a lot of things out here in the world, and you just have to learn people spiritually. Like me personally, I'm a very spiritual person. My whole family, we very spiritual people. And I talk to a lot of people about it, and they don't take me serious enough to open their heart or their mind set to widely think about spiritual connections and things like that. And with R. Kelly, it's just hurt people, and not making excuses saying that what he's doing is right, but just saying that a lot of people, it's a lot to this. It's a lot to this. I'm trying to gather my thoughts. It's a lot to this story. A lot of people that were speaking before me personally were hitting on some very basic topics, and not even to say basic topics, but very hard hitting topics, and wishing that I could say that it was perfectly said the way they said it. But for me, it's like, man.
What are your thoughts on the verdict? Let's just start there. What are your thoughts on the verdict?
Okay. Well, I have been keeping up with this for a while now. I've not been giving all my time to it, but I've been hearing a lot going on with it, and I just feel like it's the verdict is extreme. The sentence that they're giving him is extreme. But like anybody else, if it was one of us out here doing half of the stuff this man was doing, just because we're not on a higher platform than this guy doesn't mean that we're not going to be charged with something that's going to label us as what we are and what we have done. I'm just saying that a lot of people are gonna take a lot of people are gonna, some half of them don't feel like he deserved the sin that he got, or don't feel like this is a predicament that he should be in. But like anybody else, you play with, like he said, you play with God, you don't keep the promises you make with God, he is definitely going to sit you down and make you think about it. It's
all right. Thank you so much, Court.
You're welcome.
All right, we're gonna go to Gotti.
Hello, how you doing? Nique.
Hey.
How you doing? I just want to say this, right, about the whole Kelly case. Watching it, to be honest, to anybody that came up here, I mean, I don't think it's a spiritual war that Kelly going to. I think it's when you have fame and you have money and you get to a certain level in life, you have leeches and roaches that come around you that basically want to do harm to you. And a lot of these women and men were leeches and disgruntled employees that sat on the stand and lied on this man. If we really do the investigation and listen to the case, it was all hearsay, just like in Bill Cosby case. Hearsay. How do you put people on the case, on the stand that had nothing to do with the case, but you put them as witnesses? And all these women are saying the same exact things. One said he made her eat feces. The other one said she was in the room locked for, I don't know how many days she said she was locked for, the reporter from Utah. And basically said that she had a cell phone. She was able to speak to her family, but this man held her hostage in a room. And then you have a dude that came out of nowhere said that he was molested by R. Kelly. It's like they just brought a whole bunch of people, Gloria Oldred, brought a bunch of people out there to literally lie on this man because it was all a money play. They wanted to see this man locked up. The jury was paid. Let's be honest. They paid the jury, just like they paid the jury in Bill Cosby case. It's the same thing. And if R. Kelly and his legal team do get an appeal, I hope they do. I really hope they do get an appeal. And if they win their appeal, just like the case got overturned and Bill Cosby case, I hope this get overturned. Because at the end of the day, it was a weak case. Any legal analyst that talked about this case will tell you this was a weak case. It was nothing but hearsay evidence. How so much raping was going on, so much abuse was going on. No rape kits was done, no police reports, no nothing. Just a bunch of people getting up on the stand just saying any and everything just to get this man convicted. So, like I said, they was paid. Dream Hampton, the guy from Chicago Tribune, that was the journalist that been stalking R. Kelly since his first case. All these people they just was there to destroy this man and take this man down. What happened to R. Kelly is what happened to every black man in this country. They are guilty and not, and to be honest, we are not even an inkling of us being innocent in the court of law. They don't look at us as innocent in the court of law. I don't care if you got money or you don't have money. A black man is public enemy number one in this country by any means necessary. They will convict you. How do you give a man a RICO
I'm gonna
case
let you give your
over
final
hearsay?
words. Go ahead. I'm
But
gonna let you get your final words.
I'm gonna say this. You know, I like your channel. I like what you do. And like I said, how do you find a man guilty in a RICO case when he has no co-conspirators, just him by himself? That's all I got to say.
All right. Thank you so much. We're gonna go to a super chat that just came in. Thank you for the donation. Crazy Kinda Amazing says he's discussing and he's been doing this for years. There are reasons why little black girls don't feel comfortable talking about their assaults because y'all victim blame the girls and make excuses for grown men. Shaking my head. Wow. Thank you, Candy. Thank you, Crazy Kinda Amazing, for the donation. If you send in a donation, child, the drink is already coming, but I needed the drink in order to do this live. I'm sorry. If you send in a donation, I will definitely try my best to read it on the screen. Okay, those comments will take priority because this is a topic that will not get monetized. They do not monetize subject matter such as this. So to support me, you are supporting my channel and supporting the conversation by sending in a super chat or sending in a cash app. And my cash app is on the screen because these type of conversations do not get monetized typically. And to keep the train going, I'm gonna need y'all support. So anyways, I want to hear from both sides. I don't want to just hear from one side or the other. I want to hear everybody out, and I'm going to let everybody basically speak their piece. Again, if you click on the link, the people who are on camera are going to take priority, but I will hear from all. If you're on camera, it just aesthetically looks a little bit better, so I take those first. And then the people who are not on camera, I'm still going to hear from you, but the people on camera just take priority. So if you want to get yourself together while I take a call, do that. All right, refuse to lose. Go ahead. Your mic is muted.
Hello, hey Nique, how are you?
Hey.
I just want to say that, after the first time, he should have learned his lesson. It seems like things got way more out of control once, that got by. And also, I feel like he should not be the only one facing charges. That's one of the things that's really been sitting on me in the midst of all this. We got some parents, we got well, they're young ladies now, but people got surgeries and did all this extra stuff, and you know what I mean? And so they building their own brand off of the things that he did for them. And so I just feel like he shouldn't be the only one. Should he pay? Absolutely. Because there are children in this world that needs to know that if something like this happened to them, that there are people in their corner and there are people that will try their best to see that justice is served. That's just how I feel.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Refuse to Lose.
You got it. Thank you.
All right. Okay, let's go to the next person, Raphael.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. I honestly believe, yeah, that if you deep everything, yeah, they were gunning for him for a long time. Do you see what I mean? So I genuinely believe that if he was genuinely guilty, then they have to go for his enablers as well, including Sparkle, whatever her name is. You know what I mean? But I just think, you know, certain people can make up lies to destroy your life and your career. I'm not saying that he isn't really guilty because I wasn't in the courtroom to see the evidence and I wasn't a juror in it, so I don't know. But all I can say is if they if they really want to, you know, deal with this situation like thoroughly, then they will have to go after his enablers, and also got to find a way to like solve this problem because, like, I swear there's like other situations. There's one particular person, you know what I mean? Like his name gets brought up, but then he's being protected. But I get why he's being protected because obviously, get me, he's one of them type of people. And what can I say?
All right. Thank you, Raphael, for coming on. I appreciate it. All right. Golden arrogance. Hello. All right. Bless365 says, exactly. Have y'all seen Azriel's Instagram? She's always flaunting her body and putting extras on everything. Thank you for the donation. Golden arrogance, your mic is muted, so you have to unmute your mic, or I'm gonna go to the next. 5, 4, 3.
Hello.
Okay, there you go. About to click off, girl. What's your thoughts?
Okay, so I just wanted to say that I don't feel bad for R. Kelly personally. Like, I feel like all the stuff that he was doing throughout the years, this is just like this is the bed that he made. Now he has to lay in it. As far as people debating over the time that he got, I don't feel no ways about that time that he got, because even after all these years of R. Kelly doing these things, we all know that R. Kelly is guilty. Like, he's done this before. He got away with abusing Aaliyah, or he got away with marrying Aaliyah. He got away with abusing that 14-year-old girl on camera. Instead of him to take a step back and go sit down and go do something else, he still continued to do the nefarious things that he was doing. And the 100 and something years that he got is just the karma that he's getting, you know? As far as the people around R. Kelly, I feel like there were a lot of enablers around R. Kelly, and they'll probably be getting some time too, or getting in trouble too. But I also feel like for the people that are defending R. Kelly, or I don't know, trying to defend R. Kelly, I feel like, I don't know. First of all, I feel like it's very insulting to Black women that people are still trying to defend R. Kelly, even though this has been like the worst kept secret in the music industry. R. Kelly has been doing this for over 20 years, so I don't know what people are defending. That's number one. Number two, like, R. Kelly does not know y'all. Like, these celebrities do not know y'all, so I don't know why people are rushing to defend him. I feel like people are so enamored by the celebrity that is R. Kelly, and they love his music so much that they don't want to believe that he would do something this nefarious, or they don't, or they just want an excuse to keep listening to his music or whatever. But I don't know, girl. It's crazy.
All right. Well, thank you, Golden Arrogance, for chiming in. I appreciate you coming on. We're gonna go to the next one. All right.
No problem.
All right. Okay. The StreamYard link is in the chat. My moderators are reposting the stream. So far in the video, like the video, share the video, have other people join the conversation, because I want to hear both sides. I'm not giving my opinion on this stream because I want people to feel comfortable to say how they feel. Sometimes when I do certain topics, people are discouraged to say how they feel because they're like, oh, well, she feels this way, so I'm not going to say this or that. I want to hear both sides, if you're for or against. So I'm letting everybody speak their piece, but just be mindful that other people do want to talk on this topic. There's a lot of people clicking the link. So when you speak your piece, just kind of keep it short and brief and to the point, because I want to allow everybody to speak their voice. Okay. This is basically for you guys. This stream is for you guys to vent about how you feel. For those of you guys who are just tuning in, R. Kelly was found guilty on all counts of racketeering and trafficking, and his sentencing will be next year in May. So they will deliberate. He's facing up to 140 years for the things that he has been alleged to have done. There was a lot of things going on in this trial. Now, there was evidence of, video recordings. There was evidence of, certain things, but there was also a flip side of it to where to where the witnesses were basically crossed up and basically made out to be liars. So even like as far as like some of the people who made allegations, a lot of the allegations were debunked, but then there were some allegations that had proof that they actually happened. So I just kind of want to open up the space to where everybody could speak to what they think. Like you hear so far, some people feel like he's being railroaded. Some people feel like he's getting his just due. Some people feel like, there's other people that should be charged as well. They feel like the parents should also be charged, because after all, who offers up their child to somebody who already has these type of allegations? That brings in more questions. So with that being said, I want more of you guys to chime in. I got another donation that came in from Bless 365. Bless 365 says the same ones passing all this judgment on R. Kelly be the main ones having random men all around their children, a new stepdaddy every week/month. The F y'all talking about. Okay, that comes in from Bless 365. C Square said, we want your opinion, Nique. I know y'all want my opinion. Y'all want to know what I think. Okay, but I'm not gonna share it. I'm just not. Y'all see my videos already on the topic. Y'all already seen my thoughts in breaking down this case. I've already shared my opinion on the matter. So I don't feel like I need to rehash my opinion. I want to open the floor for y'all opinion. I want to know what y'all think. I want to know how y'all feel. And I want to share both sides. Okay? Okay. Let's see what some of these comments are saying. Annie says free R. Kelly. Dropping Jim says y'all disrespectful. I'm telling it says I disagree with the ignorant comment. I don't know what she disagree with. Raquel says I wouldn't care how many stepdaddies a woman had around her kids. What does that have to do with this case? With R. Kelly, has nothing to do with R. Kelly case. Stay on topic. Okay. Adeo says we're judging by his character, boo. Okay. Blessed and Beautiful says he shouldn't be the only one charged. The parents and everyone that helped him keep quiet should go to jail as well. They know they sold their kids for money and fame. All right. Kristen says, question weirdos. What do they stand to gain from him going to jail? All right. Keita says, why do anybody need an excuse to listen to his music? If I want to, I will. And as a Black woman, I know Black women, I don't think he's the guiltiest party. Okay. Somebody says, y'all act like the name calling will change anybody's mind. All right. Strawberry says, some of you people's mothers gave birth to y'all when she was 17. So what about that? All right. Kimberly G says everyone on here needs to do some research. Okay. Facts that R. Kelly got caught with child. Whoa, we gotta get that off the screen because I ain't trying to get flagged. All right, so boom. Okay, if we going to jail for a long time, is that going to stop all this foolishness? All right, so I just wanted to read some of y'all comments, not just the super chats, but the super chats will get highlighted. Let's go to Erica. Hey, girl, what's your thoughts?
Hey, Nique. I basically wanted to respond to the people who are blaming the parents. They're still a victim. So no one can go out there and just give their children to predators, and then that child is no longer a victim and the predator is no longer guilty of committing a crime upon them. So it feels like they're making excuses for this grown man. And then going back to the original person, I think it was Demetrius, who said that, her grandmother said, girls are supposed to behave a certain way. And if they don't, then they shouldn't be surprised if they get treated as a grown woman. There is no way that a child is supposed to behave to prevent a grown person from committing a crime against them. And I think that it speaks a lot about our community that people are still saying things like this, that people are still saying that children need to behave a certain way, not to get the R word. And I do want to keep it quick. But then going back to the other person who said that there was no evidence, I mean, we have a marriage license from when Aaliyah was 15 years old. It seems obvious that there was a crime committed there, not to mention the video that he infamously got off on before. So I just wanted to speak to those things. Obviously, I think that, the amount of time that he got was appropriate. He's a danger to our community. He's not going to stop unless he is locked away. If anyone thinks that R. Kelly is capable of stopping or that he is capable of having a positive impact on the community, they are delusional. Especially in a city like Chicago, where we've had a man that has been preying on young Black children, boys and girls, for almost 3 decades now, and people still want to make excuses. There's time for a change. It is time for a change.
All right. Is there anything more you want to add?
That is pretty much everything. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you so much for coming on, Erica. We're going to go to the next caller. Alfila, is there anything you want to chime in, or you just want?
Hey, I just want to say this real quick because I took it way to the spiritual side. I want to bring it down to the earthly realm. Man, know the game that you playing, bro. If you already got a character about yourself that you do these type of things, far as the tapes that was put out before and people was debating was that him or not, you already got this kind of character that people already think of you as possibly being able to do. They don't see that outside of the scope of something you might do. Now, one thing you got to think about, I heard the brother talking about the criminal justice system. The criminal justice system, they just people like us, bro. They're not robots. Like when you try to get credit, they put in all these numbers and see if you get the credit or not. These are people. So they already didn't heard about you. They're well versed in your old allegations and stuff like that. So when they see a new one, they're already kind of waiting for you to prove yourself not guilty, as opposed to see if the evidence is going to say you're not guilty. They're already kind of looking at you guilty. It's like going to jail and the CO come to work. He's not going to sit there and go through all the files and say, oh, Coleman, I don't really think he did that. And Johnson down there in cell 5, maybe he did. They're going to look at everybody like inmates. You get what I'm saying? So that's the same way when you build like a certain character about yourself, that's how people are going to look at you. And then when new allegations come up, you're going to be judged by that old equity of the character that you already established for yourself. So just be careful, with the moves you make. Understand whatever kind of games you're playing in this world, and that people are going to judge you by that. People are going to look at you like, even if you really, really not that, or you turned your life around, you're going to always have that. So just kind of know what you're doing out here if you partaking in certain things, because like the brother said, the criminal justice system, it might be against us, right? But that's just like saying gravity is against you and blaming gravity and keep trying to jump off a tall building without a parachute. You already know what gravity is about. So when you know what the criminal justice system is about, stay away from it as far as you can and don't play with it. That's my advice.
All right. Thank you, Alfila. I will come back to you. All right. So I'm dropping the link in the chat. By conducting this, I wish that my moderators could keep on reposting the StreamYard link so that people can keep notice of it. If you see a link drop in the chat and it's a StreamYard link, that's the link to click on so that you can chime in and give your thoughts on the matter. I'm about to drop it right now again. So if you want to continue on this conversation, I'm gonna stay on for a little bit more so that you guys can express your thoughts, express your feelings. If you are just now tuning in, if this is your first time here, I want you to drop the half moon emoji in the chat. And that basically lets us know that you're new to the community. If you drop an owl in the comments, that lets me know that you've been rocking with me, you've been here for a while, and that lets me know you're a night owl. So I want to see those emojis pop up right now. So also I want to kind of recap why we're here. So R. Kelly, he was basically found guilty on all 9 counts in his federal trial, right? And he was found guilty on all counts. The jury deliberated on Friday. They came back on Monday. They delivered down the verdict, and the verdict was guilty. Okay? It basically took a month's time to make the case. And after they made the case, they felt like after all of the evidence was brought in, that he was guilty. Now, there was evidence that debunked the victims, and there was evidence that supported the victims. And there were people who felt like there was also other parties involved that should be charged. Now, he can be facing up to 140 years. So a lot of people are now entering into the conversation of, is this a good amount of time for what is alleged? Is this an absurd amount of time for what is alleged? Is this excessive? Is this the right amount? Is this what should happen in this type of situation? Do we believe that the victims are the victims? Because there are some people who feel like they are victims. What happened to them is sad. And then there are some people who feel like they knew what they signed up for. They was trying to get a bag. They was trying to get money. They was trying to get da-da-da. And now that the money weren't dry, now they crying victim. So there's all types of people who are in this conversation. People who feel like they're victims, people who don't feel like they're victims. Let me read 2 super chats that came in. Kay LeJour donated and said, I'm a mother and an aunt. I love children. Their innocence should be protected. R. Kelly got what he deserves. And it went off the screen. Another person, for all y'all claiming he's innocent because the girls were groupies, are y'all saying you'll sleep with a minor if they let you? Y'all are sick. So that's another donation that came in. As the donations come in, I am going to try my darndest to read them. Now, let me go to Andrea Fox. What is your thoughts?
Hello.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Um, First of all, I want to talk about the verdict. I thought that R. Kelly was going to be not guilty, but my thing is that about the parents and the women and all them. I don't believe anything they said during the trial. But what my thing is that where is I'm gonna say this. Where is the evidence of where's the evidence of where the women stand that R. Kelly abused them or R. Kelly locked us up or brainwashed us or uh, you know stuff like that. You know, they did not have no evidence of that. You know, but I think I think what they're trying to do is they just trying to set this man. I think they're trying to set this man up, and I think they're trying to make him feel, like he's some kind of monster or something, make him think that he's, but the only thing R. Kelly is he is not the type of person, type of man that he was doing what he did, in the 2008, back in the 2008. But I know when he did what's wrong is wrong. He would, when he did what's wrong is wrong. When he did what's right, right. Everybody know that R. Kelly can't read or write, but this man had did a lot for everybody and did a lot for every artist. Every artist, everybody. But R. Kelly is like the man of the man of God. He is the person that he bothered with the people, but the people that they just turn their back on him, say, "Oh, R. Kelly did this, R. Kelly did that," and I don't believe anything that people saying. I know a lot of people are lying to him. Like, for example, like for the car manager, he said that he told on the stand that he said that R. Kelly had nothing to do with the marriage license or the fake ID. Okay, why did you go on the stand and said that R. Kelly don't have nothing to do with the fake ID or the marriage license? So that's something is very, very odd to me because um, my suggestion is that when you say something that doesn't when you say something like that, it's like you just seem like you know what I mean. So I don't know. It's just something that's not add up to me because like for example like for the girls when they was at the Trump Tower, um, George Jocelyn, she was there for picking up the Grammy and all that. But um, but with Adrielle, I know she just saying that she told that George said, "Oh, you slept with me when I was a minor," blah blah blah, this blah 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 that. You know why? I mean, I don't get that. I mean, even though they both were grown women, that it was not. I don't know if he met them because I don't know, but I know that the parents had sold. Like R. Kelly said in the Gail King interview, he said that the parents sold their kids to him. And I that's my opinion for that. But I don't know.
All right.
This is
Well, thank you, Andrea Fox, for coming on. Thank you for chiming in.
you too.
All right. All right. So we're gonna go to Lady. Unmute your mic, Lady.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm just my opinion. I just want to say, hey, Nique, I'm sorry, I'm just jumping in. Hey, how y'all doing? My opinion on the R. Kelly case was the found guilty part of the case is I don't understand is how they found him guilty when it was so many holes in the case. Like I see if it was a solid case, if they had like all the evidence they claimed they had, like everything that they claimed, the 100 tapes, all of that, none of that was there. I understand they had like one voice tape and one tape with women, grown women, no underage women, young ladies, grown women, and everybody keep calling him the P word when all anybody that has is the P word have to have sex with somebody 13 and under. So and he was never charged with anybody 13 or under. And not to just point throw that out there, but I just don't understand how he was found guilty for something that they didn't even have enough evidence on. It's like it was like planned from even the first trial when if you look back and do some research, how everyone that seemed like they try to go get their music and stuff, it seemed like they pop up with a trial, like Michael Jackson, R. Kelly, like soon as they try to get their music, bam, a trial. And even back then, they had facial recognition where you could change somebody's face on anything. If anybody pay attention, back in the days, it was called R. Kelly tape, X tape, S tape, not R tape, S tape. And then 2 years later, I guess the money ran out. Then it became the R tape, whatever, a couple of years later or a year
All
later.
right, so I'm
But
gonna
it's
pause
just
you.
the
I'm pause.
point that
Wait,
at
wait,
first
wait, 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 wait. I'm gonna pause you, pause you, pause you, pause you. All right, so you're saying basically, I'm just gonna just reiterate what I'm gathering so far. You're saying that you think that it was somebody like a face swap that was on the tape with the underage girl. You don't think that it was R. Kelly? Is that's what you're saying?
I don't even think, even if it was if it's a young lady in the tape, that they had to be actually underage. That they could be looking. 1 second, King. That they could be looking of like I look young. A lot of people don't when they see me, they be assuming that I'm younger than way than what I was even when I was younger. Kings, have a seat, please. I'm sorry, guys. Even when I was younger, people assume I was way younger than what I was. So that's my point. Like even say it okay. I'm not saying this definitely was a swap. I'm just saying it's possible. Then I'm saying on top of it, who's to say it definitely was a young person younger? Like we don't definitely know it was a young person. And then back in the days when the tape first came out, they was claiming it was a S tape, and then it just took a life of its own and became a R tape. It was like it just switched up. Cause I'm 45.
Mm-hmm. So how
So
old do
I'm
people
just
think
like,
you
it
are?
just, huh? When
When
certain
people
people see me certain times, it people think I'm way younger. They even my daughter, she's 27. They be saying that we not mother and daughter. That's my sister or something. That's what I'm saying. Like people really think I'm even 20 or 30 something. Like in my 20s or mid 30s.
Oh, okay. People are asking you to come on camera. I don't know. But okay, so you
I
feel
know
like
I would, but my son has autism and he's not dressed and stuff. I would, but he run around and stuff.
okay.
I was
All
trying to
right.
put my avatar picture, but I don't know how to do it.
Okay. So basically just to give a summary, you think that possibly the person in the tape that's Rashana Lamphere, you feel like she isn't really underage, and then you also feel like it may not even be him because they could have did a face swap. That's pretty much what you're saying?
It's possible. And then I feel like where is the women before Aaliyah? Everybody's saying he a monster, but even Aaliyah said she never did nothing with R. Kelly. That even okay, this pastor that came on said even R. Kelly had zero to do with the marriage license. So how we know it was definitely a marriage, definitely a relationship, definitely anything. When everybody's saying no, King, relax. When everybody's saying no.
Okay. All right.
Just
Thank you
because
so
people are saying hearsay, we going on hearsay.
much. Okay. All right. Thank you, lady, for chiming in. I'm gonna go to
Thank you.
all
Thank
right,
you. Yes. Thank you. Have a good
all
day.
right. You too. All right, Treasure. Hello? Treasure?
Yeah, I'm here.
What are your thoughts?
So I was listening to what she was saying, and I agree to an extent. Like in the beginning, the family was not saying anything, you know? So it's like, was they not saying anything because they didn't know, or was they not saying anything like they was in on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you just not gonna not see that. You know what I mean? Like when I look at a kid, I could tell now. It's to the point where I could tell if a child's being, going through harmful shit at home. I could tell. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you mean to tell me you birthed this baby and you don't know what's going on with your baby? You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me.
Who don't know what's
But
going on with their baby, huh?
I'm talking about Rashana Landfair. My bad. I
I
did
don't know.
just kind of start rambling.
I feel like
But
you're kicking in right now because
when Sparkle's niece
mm-hmm.
was supposedly being touched in the tape and all of that stuff, like, were they
Mm-hmm.
not saying anything because they didn't know, or were they not saying anything like they was in on it? And then when the money ran dry, now you want to say something. Like, I'm confused with that situation. All of the situations are sketchy, but it's just like, it's just, the consistency is you a pedophile. And I don't care how nobody take it. But that's the consistency throughout all the stories. All the different girls that have come out and said anything, or, the parents that have said anything. The consistency is, yes, you like young girls. Okay? So I see that part. I get it. But then it's the stories. Like, it's just like, it's too many different sides. All this stuff can't be like, all this stuff can't be lies, and all this stuff can't be the truth.
Okay.
So my thing is like, I don't really be trying to get in people's personal business, but it's everywhere. How can you miss it? You know what I mean? So I just be listening. I'm paying attention, but at the same time, I really don't have no stance on this. I love his music. I do. I don't like him personally as a person. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's okay too. Let's agree to disagree. You know what I mean? It doesn't always have to be, oh, he's just so fucked up and he's just this, he's that. No, it doesn't always have to be that. Sometimes it could just be like, okay, you know what? Bet I just don't agree with his personal decisions. I can't deal with that. But I can listen to his music.
All
And I
right.
don't care how nobody feel
Treasure.
about that.
All right. All right. Somebody in the comments said, "Why is Nique not asking these people questions?" I'm letting y'all vent. Okay. If you feel like you have something important to add to the conversation, you are more than welcome to hit the like button and followed by hit the StreamYard link. If you feel like you have something more important to add to the conversation, if you feel like the people are not enlightened, or they're not hitting the spot, or they're not hitting it to where you want to hit it, the StreamYard link is open, baby. I am just listening. I am being a listening ear to those of you who want to lend your opinions on the verdict. If you feel like you have something profound to say, don't just bark in the chat. You are afforded the same time, and you are afforded the same venting and all of that by clicking the chat and letting everybody know what you think. I'm just hearing from the people. He was found guilty on all counts. He's facing 140 years. And I am hearing from the people of what y'all think. With that being said, we're going to go on over to the next person. If you do click the link, though, people on camera get priority, okay? People who are on camera get priority than those who are not on camera. If you are not on camera, that's fine. I will still hear from you as well. You just don't take priority because aesthetically pleasing, it just looks better when we can see people, we can see their facial expressions, we can see all of that. All right? So, with that being said, also, this is a topic that is sensitive to YouTube. They don't typically monetize this. If you want to support the channel, you can support it in a number of ways. You can go to my website, www.niqueatnight.com, and you can support me that way. You can send in a Cash App, okay? Or you can send in a super chat. You send in a super chat, I will read what you have to say, and I will highlight your comments, whatever it is, okay? Just let that being said, and we're going to go to some more people after this. Now it's time for a message from my sponsor, and my sponsor being myself, niqueatnight.com. Check the link in the description to find all the cute goodies I have available on my website. I have these cool, super cute, comfy house shoes available and some new super cute pajamas, but these house shoes won't last long because Valentine's is coming up, so get yours while they are in stock ASAP. All right. So now we are going to go to Tiff. Hey, Tiff, what are your thoughts? You got to unmute your mic.
Sorry. I had a few thoughts. I keep on forgetting how men think. And I didn't get to watch the full live. I just clicked on and I watched up until Mr. Alfila. And then I was like, I'm gonna join in. But I did want to make a comment about the Amazon driver guy.
Nina, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, for some reason it just bothers my spirit that men, especially men of our hue, they how do I say this without being too rude? It's like they want him to be innocent until proven guilty, like he hasn't had a track record of this. It's like, for me, any person that is in that realm of deviance, they're no friend of mine. They are predators of children. With the music that he made to everything that he did, it's kind of like, yeah, I can understand that people want to think that he didn't do it and they want to, it's like, why would someone decide that they would rather argue his innocence with such inhumane actions than just say, I haven't heard a guy say it. Maybe I missed it. I denounce everything that they say that he did. I'm not with it if he did it. I'm not for any of that. No one said that. It was all like, oh, they're coming against him like Cosby. Oh, this, oh, that. And it's like, that's why women don't feel protected. That's why us women sometimes don't speak up. Why do you think these women that were telling the truth waited so long? They didn't have validation when they were children. How are they going to have validation when they're an adult? Not if they're adults and they're speaking out about this. Now let's dig into her background and see all that she did. And then it's like, yes, the parents could be liable depending on what happened. But it's like, instead of just focusing on the person who perpetrated the crime, we are focusing on saying, but what about the parents and the enablers? We not on them right now. We're talking about the person who did those acts. And I get it in a spiritual sense where they're like, oh, like help this brother, give him a chance to redeem himself. He's had many a chances. When are men going to be accountable for their actions, be accountable for the way they're being viewed, and not keep on blaming others? Like if they're not blaming white supremacy, they're blaming the victims, they're blaming the media, they're blaming anyone except for the person who committed the acts. I'm waiting to hear a man start talking about how horrible and disgusting it is and how that's no friend of his. But just in case maybe he's innocent, that's not what I'm hearing though. All I'm hearing is he's being set up, he's this and he's that. And it's so disheartening because just like he's setting that example of doing his dirt and then making songs about it, they're helping him along with not even saying like, bro, R. Kelly, that was messed up. You need help. You need therapy. You need jail time, but you also need help. Because just because someone has a rough past and someone was sexually abused as a child like he was, does not give him the right to be able to get away with what he got doing just because he has the money. And right now, he technically, for people who do cancel culture, I don't see the reason why not to cancel him, except that in order to cancel someone, you have to be able to say to yourself, yeah, he did it, but I'm cool with it. And people are not doing that. They would rather hide behind the theories of him possibly not doing it than them just saying, outright despicable, disgusting, protect our children, protect our women. And hopefully the jury do what they do.
All
It's like
right.
so much.
I'm gonna have you wrap it up so I could go to the next because I want to wrap this up soon.
No problem. Just a closing thought. I just feel like it's really disheartening to see so many of our Black men sitting there and not denouncing the actions, but want to say that he didn't do it. They weren't there. It doesn't matter what kind of evidence they have or don't have. They were not there. And if they only look at what was presented.
One question before I let you go. A lot of people think like Bless 365. So a lot of people feel as though the women wanted the money, they wanted the lifestyle, they wanted to be catered to, and then once the money ran dry, then they cried victim. What do you say to the people who feel as though the women wanted that?
I would say that once you're of adult age, I can see a woman, any kind of woman, wanting something that's not healthy for her. Just like R. Kelly had such a horrible past in a childhood and got assaulted. Most of those women probably had the same issue. But the thing is, it's not the women, it's the children. Who cares about a woman when, I mean, not who cares about a woman, but it's different from a woman to a child. And they're also grouping the children in with the women. And it's sad. It's like, yeah, these women should be scrutinized and also held accountable for possibly, getting these girls. But at the same time, the main person that should, it's like when you start looking at the other people, you're taking the focus off the main person, the main perpetrator. All that stuff is going to come out. The dude who decided he was going to forge the marriage license, how are we talking about that and acting like R. Kelly didn't marry her knowing what age she was? Like, if you look at the two people, who would get a bigger frown? They both would get the same kind of frown in my eyes, because you're helping him do what he did. But it's just like, sometimes you got to look at the person who's doing the act instead of trying to point the finger everywhere else, which is taking the heat off of the main individual.
All right. Thank you so much, Tiff. Let's move right along. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it. All right. Bless 365. As long as y'all send in these cash apps, these super chats, I'm gonna read them. If you send in a cash app, you're also able to leave a note, and you're also able to say your thoughts on cash app. So let me see if there's anybody who said anything on cash app that I need to read out. Hold on 1 second, because I need to how do I get to it? Okay, so somebody said great show. Somebody said thanks for keeping it real. I haven't gave my thoughts yet. All right. All right. And then all right, boom, 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 boom. All right, so boom. All right, next caller, off topic. Da-da-da-da. Y'all keep the same energy. Da-da-da-da-da. Gender switch. Da-da-da. All right, cool. All right. So again, I just looked at my cash app and it ain't enough support for this topic. So I am going to have to end this soon. Now there is, let me see how many people. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people backstage who have not talked yet who want to talk on this matter. Okay. In order for me to keep the party going, I have to get support from you guys. Again, this topic is one that is typically not monetized, and I don't want to be a beggar now. Okay? I don't want to be a beggar. But when it comes to topics like this and keeping the conversation going, I have to understand and gauge your level of interest, okay? For it to be worthwhile, I have to get supported. So you can support my channel by either sending a super chat or sending a donation, because this is one that is triggered by the algorithm. Okay. Period. All right. So boom. Let's go on to Jeremiah. A blessed 365. What, you've been sending in a lot of donations. You said that you are backstage, but I don't see anybody backstage under blessed 365, so I don't know which one you are. You definitely will be pulled up, but I don't know which person you are. So you gotta let me know what your name is on there. All right, Jeremiah, what are your thoughts?
Oh, hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good.
Okay, I want to keep this very short. What R. Kelly did was wrong, period. I don't care that he promised to make everyone a star, even though he didn't really make Aaliyah a star. Yes, he wrote a few songs, but Aaliyah found her own footing in the industry. Just want to get that out the way. I also feel like a lot of people are making excuses for his actions when it's what his actions was that got him on trial anyway. A lot, 9 out of 10 times, you don't go to jail if you're just minding your business. 9 out of 10 times, you don't go to jail if you aren't causing harm to other people. If you're just waking up every day, doing your job, and going home, you're not going to go to jail. You're not going to be put on trial. It's just not going to happen. So for R. Kelly to be on trial for his crimes, I feel like there has to be some truth within there. Because if it wasn't, he wouldn't be on trial in the first place. But that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you for giving
Thank you.
your input. All right, so we're going to go to Teflon Dom. And then we're gonna go to Simone.
What up, Nick? Love your show.
What's up?
But no, I just wanted to speak. Yes, we know R. Kelly is a weirdo and everything else. We know that. We know he was a weirdo when the Aaliyah situation came out. But I know we don't want to take too much light away from R. Kelly. But the only reason why he was able to do this for years and years and years was because of his enablers, the people that was around him. We got, I think it was a story about Aaliyah's parents or mom, I believe, who knew about R. Kelly messing with her daughter and whatnot, or young Aaliyah. But we also know about the parents that recently came out that who sent their daughters to R. Kelly in hope of them getting famous and getting fame and fortune and whatnot. So I don't know why he being charged with the RICO unless they about to be charging the parents as well and all his enablers around him, the managers, everybody that was around him. So I don't understand that. But I wanted to uh hit on Tiffany's point. I hopped on like 30 minutes ago. I didn't the men I don't think I heard men supporting R. Kelly saying what he was doing was okay. But I think a lot of black men support other black men that's being tackled or being charged by the system because of a history of black men being missed or misrepresented and falsely accused of heinous crimes such as this. Now we know R. Kelly is a weirdo, but yeah, but I think the problem, I think what she's speaking on was because a lot of black men have been charged and in prison right now because of false allegations by a lot of women, and who haven't got the proper uh, support system from attorneys and whatnot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So
All right. Thank you for coming on. Somebody go
yeah.
comment when you came on here. Is that Nique made? No, this ain't my bed. I don't know what the hell y'all talking about.
We go way back though.
All right. Getting you off the screen. All right. We're going to go to Simone. Hey, Simone. Unmute you, Mike.
Hey, Nique. I'm sorry. Hey, Nique. How you doing?
Hey.
Okay, so I want to comment on the I guess the comment that said they did it for the money, blah blah blah. Okay, I I don't know. Like I used to be one of those people who used to question people who were being abused, right? And I could never understand why they did that. I just felt like it was so stupid. It was like if somebody's gonna throw a ball at your face, just step out the way, right? But what an abuser does is he breaks you down mentally first. That's what he did. I had a broke abuser and I still stayed. You know what I'm saying? It's not always, I feel like some of them, yeah, a lot of the people around him took a lot of things and turned a blind eye to a lot of things for money. But I personally think that without him, Azriel still would have, she has a very powerful voice. You can't deny that. You know, I feel like she still would have been able to do so. She would have been able to make a YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. Come on now, y'all. Come on now, you got to use some kind of I know everybody hasn't been through abuse, so they don't understand it. But not everybody's going to be strong enough to recognize what it is for what it is, especially when you're isolated. Um, and then I also wanted to hit on like I do understand you have to think about like how the justice system was able to get him because there's a lot of black men that will come to follow that he might not have the same record as him, or he might not even, it might not even be true, but everybody said, okay, you always believe the victim, you know. And it's just like, okay, how many other black men are going to suffer from something like that? So I do understand the argument that a lot of people are having, but the thing is, all of y'all was calling him the P word before this happened. Before any charges was pressed, nothing. We all laughed at Dave Chappelle when he did that skit. We all knew what he was. We all agreed upon it. But now that he's having to face some kind of consequences, now we're in denial.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Simone. We're going to go to Kay Lejour.
Hey, Nique, how are you?
Hey.
So I feel like the way, excuse me, hold on.
All right. Pause before you start.
Uh-huh.
All right. So we're going to go in order of, I think Tiff already spoke. So we're going to go in order here. Thank you, Beautiful Flaws, for the donation. We're gonna go to Kayla Jor. After Kayla Jor, we're gonna go to Cookie, and then after Cookie, we're gonna go to Vicky. After Vicky, we're gonna go to Britt. Okay. Alfila, I want you to moderate in between the two because I'm gonna step away. I gotta go use the bathroom real quick. I want Alfila to moderate and pass the buck between the two, and like if they're talking for a little bit too long, cut them off and go to the next person. So Kayla Jor, we're gonna go from Kayla Jor. Then after that, we're gonna go to Cookie. After Cookie, we're gonna go to Vicky, then Britt. All right, go ahead.
All right, guys. So I just feel like people are idolizing these celebrities a little too much for me to the point that you they're defending them when it's blatantly right in your face. Of course, none of us know the exact details of what happened, but we do know that something isn't right. We do know that all these people are not lying, and we do know that a lot of us that support his music or have at one time supported his music we have kids ourselves. So I feel like, how, even if we don't know exactly what happened or whatever the case, if that was your child, how could you sit and say, well,
It won't be my child because I won't pimp my child out for no money.
Wait a minute, hold on a
That
second.
part.
Yeah, I wasn't finished. But yeah, so I just feel like, and it's, I'm not talking